let's jump into our next segment because, hey, we have an organization here that's literally been in Indianapolis since 1821. It's a fantastic organization. This is the Indianapolis City Market. And I want to introduce you to our guest here. It's Joe Perrin. He is Joe Perrin, Public Relations and Events Manager of Indianapolis City Market. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Oh, thanks for jumping in. Literally, the City Market, which is home for over 25 locally owned and operated small businesses, right? Mm-hmm. Can you give us a little bit of the background and history of the Indianapolis City Market?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, it's been around ever since 1821. A public market was part of the original design of the city. A lot of folks don't know Indy was a planned capital. Mm-hmm. It was designed by a Scottish man named Alexander Ralston. That's why if you've ever been to Ralston's Draft House on Mass Ave, that's where that comes from.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's always been a public market. It used to be kind of open air, just farmers bringing in their stuff. But then in the 1880s, the market house that we know it today was built. And there's a lot more to it back then. But yeah, we have today 34 different merchants inside the market, 28 of whom do food.
Oh, wow.
On top of that, also, a barber, a shoe shine, a florist, a lot of great stuff going on.
Oh, it is fantastic. And for our audience who's not been to the City Market, you've got to go down there and go take the family as well, because it's such an experience. Like we were talking about before the show, it's this oasis of local food and local product there, right in the middle of downtown Indianapolis. And you guys are doing so much on a regular basis. There are so many amazing merchants, and there's some favorite places for us to eat. Can you name some of the merchants and brands that are down there?
Yeah, we have, there are a couple of places that you'll find elsewhere, such as the Tamale Place, doing great tamales, tacos, nachos, Circle City Soups, Circle City Sweets, which they're owned by the same husband and wife duo. Circle City Sweets supplies a lot of the baked goods that you'll find at coffee shops around town. Mm-hmm. We also have Completely Nuts and Candy Company, which is one of our newer merchants. This is their first location in Marion County, but they've got a few in the donut counties. Those are some of the ones that you'll find elsewhere. Mm-hmm. But we like to try and be a business incubator. So we always love it when we see people that used to be in the market leave the market and spread their wings and create new great things around Indianapolis and in central Indiana. But you'll find any sort of all sorts of ethnic foods, from Indian food, Mediterranean food, Mexican food. We have a French-style creperie that does dinner and dessert crepes.
Oh, wow.
We also have, you can get caffeinated at the market. We have 3 different places, 4 different places, actually, that sell coffee. Cath Inc., or the creperie 3 Days in Paris, Circle City Soups, and...
Oh, I didn't know the Cath Inc. was down there. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, Cath Inc., yep, down there. They've got all sorts of great pastries. And actually, Cath Inc., one thing that's cool about Cath Inc. is that Mike, the owner, almost always has some really great hand-carved, handmade artifacts, all from the Holy Land, from Israel and Palestine. And I know that right now he's got some really beautiful stuff that he just got in from Egypt. So if you're looking for a really unique gift for the holidays, I would say go check out Cath Inc. there in the City Market. But all sorts of stuff that you could want to find. And we really have been stressing lately, locally sourced, and of course it's all locally owned. Mm-hmm. You're never going to find a Panera or a Starbucks in the City Market, not if we can help it. But
not that there's anything wrong with those brands.
No, not at all.
But this is local.
Yeah, but as you were talking before with the United State of Indiana. There's nothing wrong with going and shopping at big box places. But if you want to support people who are producing locally, it's good to keep those things in mind.
You're absolutely right. And you've been with the City Market for just over a year?
Right under a year.
Right under a year. And there's a lot of activities that you've been doing to create more and more visibility and awareness of what's going on in the market, as well as helping the vendors there. Can you give us a little bit of insight into some of the activities that you've been doing?
Sure. So, yeah, our team, my boss, Stevie Stays, our operations and deputy director, Sandy Fischel. Mm-hmm. We have a great intern, Nick Boxa from Ball State. We all work together. We work really hard to do all sorts of programming, events. We do what we can to promote all of our merchants on social media, and also bringing in, getting earned media Me going out and doing things like this, and also having reporters come in and talk to them about the great things that they're doing. But some of the really fun things that we've been doing in this last year, and it started really in 2015 and 2016, is what we like to call creative placemaking. Now, what that is taking a space, especially public spaces, and changing them, developing them, and activating them so that they're best used for all of the community. And that can be something as simple as taking two benches in a public space and flipping them around so that they're facing each other, so that instead of two people, maybe facing away from each other, it might be sparking up a conversation, two people that haven't met. And that can also be something as complex as totally redoing a public space, putting in new structures, putting in, new kinds of benches and new kinds of activities that are going to bring people together. Now, what we've done a lot of that at the City Market has been out on the east side. So you're thinking Market Street in Alabama,
right
there where that Bike Hub YMCA is. So what we've done there, if you look out there now, we've got this really great rain garden. It doesn't look as good as it did back in July and August, but back in the 70s, when those plazas of the City Market were done, that was just a water fountain that worked for maybe a month when it was built in 1977, and it never worked since.
You gotta be kidding me.
For like 40 years, it sat there empty. It was a brick pit that sat there and collected water, trash, and sometimes some ducks. And so what we did, we filled it in with gravel. We worked with a couple of great community partners. We filled it in with gravel and some box planters, put in some native Indiana plants. And so now it's this really awesome space where you can sit there, relax, eat your food, read a book, hang out with friends. We've also got, in the warmer months, we put out Adirondack chairs. We put out cornhole sets, ping pong tables. We've got two really great bocce ball courts there that you can play. And we've actually got the rules of bocce on a wall right next to it. So if you don't know, you can learn.
Rules? Who needs rules? Come on.
Yeah, you just wing it. But just as downtown Indy grows, and it's growing incredibly quickly, as it grows and people move back to downtown, we're just trying to make the City Market be a place where everybody can come and have fun, relax, be with other people, experience Indianapolis, as well as get some great food and some great drinks.
Now, you told me a particular story about somewhat unknown rules of open carry from some of the local tapestries down there, and kind of a mutual relationship of food and beer. So give us the ecosystem there.
Yeah, so we have one of the great gems in the City Market that we have, if you're 21 and over, is Tomlinson Tap Room. And Tomlinson Tap Room is an all Indiana craft beer bar, and so you'll never find Bell's or Founders or Rheingeist in there. It's all the great Indiana craft beers that we have in this state, as well as a few Indiana wines, but mostly focusing on the beer. But as you're mentioning, Indianapolis is lacking in some open carry laws. So one of the great things that we have is that if you're interested in hanging out on our great plazas that we have, you can go up to Tomlinson Tap Room, ask for a pint of great Indiana craft beer in a plastic to-go cup, and then take it out and hang out on one of our plazas. But the key is that when you take it out, you can't take it back in. So
not a worry.
Yeah.
They've got more to consume.
Exactly.
So have a drink outside and enjoy the atmosphere. Yep. And conversely, you also told me about one of the vendors there actually bringing some food into the restaurant.
Yeah. So if you are up in Tomlinson Tap Room, Tuesdays through Saturdays around dinner time, and you're hanging out getting a beer, and you decide you want some food, Gomez Barbecue, which is one of our newest merchants, has dinner menus up there. You can order food from Gomez at Tomlinson Tap Room's bar, and you can pay there, and they will run the food up to you. And Mike Gomez, the owner, is a great guy doing some great Indiana craft barbecue. It's not Kansas City. It's not Texas barbecue. It's Indiana craft barbecue. It's its own new thing.
No, that deserves its own expose on the show to begin with.
Definitely does.
But just a great connection between two vendors and just experience. I mean, what a great weaving of relationship that you're seeing down there. That's fantastic. So we want to you're here as well to bring attention to the upcoming biggest fundraiser that you have, and that's the Market Ball. Now it sounds like a terrific event. So can you tell us a little bit about that? That's coming up this Saturday, December 9th, right?
Yes. Yeah. So about a week and a half out now. Market Ball is a reiteration Actually, I don't think reiteration is a word. It is a new form of an event from decades past that was called To Market Ball. And that kind of came about in decades past when then Mayor Dick Lugar got together with a lot of community partners to save the city market. Because back before historic preservation was a thing, people thought, this building from the 19th century, we don't need this anymore. Let's build another, in my opinion, disgusting disgusting testament to 1960s architecture. But the community came together. They said, no, we love this building. It's an incredible institution in this city. We need to save it. And so To Market Ball existed for a couple of decades and was a really great fundraiser for the city market. We brought it back last year as Market Ball. As you see, it's lacking in a few letters. But Market Ball is our way to celebrate the city market house. Last year, we celebrated the 130th birthday of that historic market house, and we celebrated with a great steampunk party. This is actually one of the logos from last year.
Too cool.
But it's a great one. And but yeah, so last year we celebrated 130 years. This year it's 131. But the other interesting thing about this year is that this year, a couple weeks ago, November 14th, we we honored really the 60th anniversary of the last show that was ever held in Tomlinson Hall. So as I said, when the City Market House was built, there was a lot more to it. There used to be some more structures for market space, but there was also this magnificent building called Tomlinson Hall. It looked kind of what the Athenaeum looks like, a massive, kind of Germanic architecture brick building. It was beautiful. And it was the original concept of a convention center. And it held, presidents spoke at Tomlinson Hall. One of the first publicly attended basketball games in the Midwest was held at Tomlinson Hall. Yale versus the YMCA. I think Yale won about 33-13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it was this incredible building, and unfortunately, we lost it to a fire, a horrible fire in January '58. But before that, there was one concert that was held there, the Fantabulous Rock and Roll Show of '57. It was so it was the evening of November 14th, 1957. It was over 50 different musical acts. Most namely, Ray Charles, Bo Diddley, Joe Turner, and a lot of other really, really big stars of the time. So in honor of that 60th anniversary of that last show, this year Market Ball is themed after the 1950s rock and roll scene. So, come out and be Marty McFly and rock the Chuck Berry out. But yeah, so it is our biggest fundraiser of the year. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and this fundraiser goes a long way towards helping us do building upkeep, operations, programming, the events that we try to put on for the community, as well as a lot of the creative placemaking I was talking about.
I had no idea that that the City Market was a nonprofit 501c3. That's fantastic. So it will really benefit the City Market in a number of ways. So for upkeep and everything, can you also expand on that fundraiser and how else it will be utilized?
Yeah. So. A lot of what we want to do, I mean, there are so many things that it's an old building. She's an old girl, and a lot of things needing done. We have windowsills that are in desperate need of replacement. And just so many things that we don't have the money for. And the Market Ball, the money that we bring in from Market Ball goes a long way towards helping us do those renovations. And they have to be done in a historically accurate way, that it's a historically protected building.
Right.
So it's complex to do that kind of stuff. But also, like I said, we're trying to do all sorts of events, and the money we bring in from Market Ball helps us do that. So whether it's we work with the YMCA and do public yoga classes or public fitness classes. We want to do healthy cooking classes. When we have the farmers market, we do the original farmers market every Wednesday, May through October. And, we want to do public cooking classes. So you come down and you buy, all of this great Indiana grown produce, but, and we want to bring in chefs that will show you, here's what you can do to help make a healthy meal for you and your family, and with all of these things that you can buy right here. We want to do things, all those things like that, to really help serve the community, because we want to be more than a place where people just come and eat lunch and get out. We want to be a place where people, come and hang out and do these things, but also where they can come and benefit and learn, new skills, and that will really just help continue making Indianapolis a really great place to live.
Excellent. Well, we certainly would request everybody to check out the Market Ball fundraiser. And so where can they go to get tickets for the event?
Yeah, so you can go to www.marketball, MRKT BALL, marketballindy.com to find more information on the event, and you can get a link to the ticket website from there. We do our tickets through Brown Paper Tickets. And yeah, so we're gonna have all sorts of fun stuff. The ticket's gonna get you complimentary drinks, samples from a number of City Market vendors, food samples, as well as our florists, the Flower Boys, will be giving out free single stem roses to everybody that comes. So
Very cool.
give a rose to someone special. And we'll have a great silent auction going on. We will have chamber music band performing. They're a local R&B group. If you're not familiar with them, they're actually made up of members of the Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce.
Huh.
And they're an incredible group that performs. They're going to come and play some of their own really popular covers, as well as some great 1950s rock and roll covers, too. So it should be a really fun party, a lot of fun stuff going on. And we're actually going to be premiering, this is the first time I've said this in a great public forum, we're going to have a really fun kind of duck pin-sized bowling lane that we're going to be rolling out for that event. So it's something that we're hoping to have out all the time. But this will be the first time you can see it. It was built by the great students at Ball State University's Senior Architecture and Urban Planning capstone program.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, everybody has to go check out Market Ball. So go to the URLs that we were talking about, and we'll throw those certainly in the show notes. For viewers who may not be able to, not making it to City Market on a regular basis, can you put a call to action as to why it's a great local treasure that needs to be tapped into and supported?
The Indianapolis City Market, it's really. I've had it described to me by a friend as the heart of downtown Indy. When a lot of people think of downtown Indy, you think of the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, but the City Market has been there since the very beginning. It's a great place where everybody's welcome to come and hang out and experience what it is to be around in Indianapolis. And it's just a piece of Indiana history that we really need to work hard to preserve and beautify and lift up in the community. It's a real treasure that I have been blessed to work with and work for and around.
Oh, very cool.
And the way my boss put it to me when I first started on the team is this is an institution that has been around long before us and it'll be around long after us. And we are just lucky enough to be a little bit of its history. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and anything that people can do, monetary support is always great, but coming down and even just experiencing that, you can support the City Market by even just coming and hanging out and telling people to come, telling more people to come and hang out.
Yeah. And that's also, I mean, that's something as we talk about choosing local and the responsibility of our citizens is, we certainly want you to come down and participate in the local vendors, right? Yep. But also just getting the word out, and part of your kind of civic duty, for lack of a better description, is making sure that your friends are aware of what's happening. So make sure you come down to City Market, participate, go lift up the vendors that are there, because they're certainly investing in the marketplace, and they are always looking to be able to succeed, and it's just a fantastic atmosphere actually to go and eat and meet and have some fun. So Joe, we're certainly appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you.
And I tell you what, it's fantastic to see. So we're going to actually have the URLs up on the site. Go over to www.indycm.com to check out everything over at the City Market. You can find them on the socials at IndyCM on Twitter, IndyCM on Facebook, and IndyCM on Instagram. Boy, we have got some great branding happening with these different guests that we have on there. So final points, maybe you can close out the show with some final thoughts of why to choose local.
Yeah, when you choose local, as the fellows from the United State of Indiana were saying, every time you choose local, so much of that is going back to your community. You are supporting, people you see on the street. You are supporting your community, and so whether it's buying from United State of Indiana or there are a couple of really great clothing producers here in the city. You're supporting responsible labor, responsible businesses, local businesses, or, coming down and buying food from local businesses. As we said, there's nothing wrong with buying from big boxes, but, if you love your community, you need to work to lift it up. And a lot of that is supporting local. And supporting local feels good. It makes you feel good.
It does, because you can see your money and your efforts at work right there.